Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm Lukewarm Coffee, and today we're going to be reacting to Performative Male TikToker Exposed for SA. I have seen, what is it, a reel of this guy in his mustache. This video is by Mori or Mary. But with that said, let's get into it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, massive crazy story today. Looks like Scotty K Fitness.
That's his name. Okay, I did not know his name. I've seen a few of his reels.
Toker, who's in the fitness industry, just got exposed for SA in his former life before changing his name. And ladies and gentlemen, I just gotta say that I'm not shocked in the least. I will say allegedly though, for legal and liability reasons.
Sorry about that.
I want to get sued. However, I will be showing you this video here from creator Goob U2, who did a little investigation into Scotty in his former life as a security guard or police officer at some college campus where he was.
He looks like a fighter. I kind of want a mustache like that, but not like over the lips. Just enough. Just enough. That's kind of like overdoing it.
Allegedly creeping on some of the girls. And in another situation where he allegedly grabbed a woman by her neck and forced her head towards his crotch. I know, shocking stuff. Let's get into it.
So there's one problem with
some deplorable
in your
acts.
past life. You were a huge piece of shit. No matter what you think you've changed, or no matter how you've tried to alter your appearance or maybe your name, you can never outrun the shit that you did. Scotty K Fitness, also known as Matt Kramer. Welcome to the show.
So Matt Kramer was his original name before he changed it to Scotty. And the running theory is that, well, he had a regular job in 2020 of which he departed from, blew up 5 years later, knew that this case was still out there, this information was out there, panicked and knew that he had to change that name or else the inevitable would happen. And by the way, before we go any further, I just gotta say, he did it to himself. Again, he went on to dox a random ass commenter making fun of his mustache and saying he looked like the gay guy from Ozark and another guy for making fun of his mustache, and then he mocked him, basically saying that's why you're paralyzed from the chest down. Like, guy, you made.
Alright, so this is just completely childish then. And then he went into his feelings, got into his feelings, and just doxed a random person, a random commenter. Imagine doxing. Hold on. Imagine doxing a random commenter. Just a commenter. One out of what, billions of people on a platform? And he ruined his career for one. And changed his name. So whatever he did was deplorable. We did, catch a little bit of that in the beginning. But, let's continue.
A mountain out of a molehill, you dissected and doxed other people, and now the same thing is happening to you, and your career is pretty much done.
Scotty's made headlines recently for just kind of being a douchebag. He made fun of a disabled person, he got canceled, Rides let him go. But I'm here to tell you,
You can really see the performativism here. Safe space podcast. Of course, he has a podcast. Who doesn't? Well, not me. 1.9 million followers. So he's doing pretty good. Fuck V Shred. I guess he's a fitness influencer too. He's just hitting the checks on this clipboard here.
he's going to relish and miss the times when we were shitting on him for just that. Because Scotty has a dirty secret. You see, this safe space on his bio is quite misleading. Because Scotty was actually born Matthew Scott Kramer. This is his birth certificate.
And as you can see here, the
Hold on.
documents.
1994. Damn. So he's 40.
Matthew Scott Kramer. This is his birth certificate.
And as you can see here, the documents that Goob is showing on screen, it says in the district court and for Tulsa County, state of Oklahoma, of which she's from, it says in the matter of the application of Matthew Scott Kramer for a change of name to Scotty Knox Flynn. So he basically changed his entire name and kept some variation of his middle name, Scott, and used it as Scotty, as to avoid detection from any documents or personal records relating to his old life. Very, very sneaky on you.
So he really tried to clear his name as legally as he could. And when going through the process of that must be like annoying. Changing your name, Everything do this, legal documents, that.
Or Scotty.
Now, Scotty, also known as Matt, told the judge that he was changing his name because he didn't like his family's name and wanted to change it for that reason. But I have a different theory as to why Scotty changed his name to Scotty from Matt. And it has to do with this complaint filed against him in the ongoing investigation that occurred for when he was an officer at a school. You see, Mr. Safe
He was an
was
officer.
an officer at a school. However, he was allegedly telling students that he started an OnlyFans for extra money and made inappropriate statements about females that were walking 25 feet in front of him.
That is crazy.
That is actually crazy. At a school, he's talking about an OnlyFans that he has, makes comments to the students at a school.
I just gotta say, holy Scott is actually cooked. He's fried. Chicken fried rice stir fried with a hot ass wok and all. So in this document that I'm quickly gonna go through, it says on June 1st, 2021, I spoke with Censored and she was informed of my receipt of the complaint and that an investigation was being initiated. So I'm going to assume this may be the victim here.
I do want to say, all information about this person, Scotty, is public information, as far as I know. You know, for legal purposes. And allegedly, he is charged. Allegedly, he is charged with, or not charged.
She was informed of my receipt of the complaint and that an investigation was being initiated, so I'm going to assume this may be the victim here or someone, a coworker, who knows. Additionally, it says investigation of complaints. The investigators shall contact the complainant and inform them that they are beginning an investigation into the complaint and to obtain any further information if needed. And it says investigative scope, police policy, professional conduct and complaints and discipline. 1. Conduct unbecoming of an officer. Officers and employees are expected to behave and act as any prudent person in their same position would be expected to act and behave, of which Scotty was not. And they say under the scope of this investigation, he was engaging in inappropriate conversations to or could be heard by other officers, faculty, staff, or students. They also say the typed letter read that Officer Kramer used offensive language from December 2020 until present day. This letter was not signed. Officer Kramer allegedly made inappropriate statements about a newscaster by saying he wanted to, and I quote, sticking it in her butt, end quote. Officer Kramer allegedly shared information about his past sexual experiences with his ex-girlfriend.
He's freaked out. As an officer, he just... Let's continue. Hold on. Let me...
Employees about his past relationships and cheating on his wife
35?
times.
Imagine cheating on your wife 35 times. His wife really must be something. He really must be something. 35 times? I think after the third time, I think you should have just left. There's no sticking together. Once you cheat, you'll always cheat. And once that trust in a relationship is broken, it is broken. Maybe some other people work some other way in their relationship.
Wow, Scotty, you're a naughty guy. Kramer was also on Facebook trying to find a female student that he seen in the academic building that wasn't wearing a bra. Oh boy. Again, very naughty, Scotty. Kramer allegedly spoke with a female student life employee about him starting an OnlyFans account for extra money and made an inappropriate statement about a female student that was walking about 25 feet in front of him. So yeah, buddies, again, another performative male down. So much for that safe space, huh?
Pause and hold to read this.
It's a safe space for predators at this fucking point.
Even his fellow officers all say that he makes them uncomfortable and that he says multiple and many off-color things about females in the presence of the other officers. And this is such a big problem that it made its way into an investigation and a complaint lodged against him.
You know how much you got to talk about something until people start to think you're weird? Obviously, depending on the topic, and this topic is really up there, so it could have not have taken or have been much that he's been saying to them. It's just, damn. At East School, it's just so weird to me. Like, you really became an officer for a school, or maybe he's like a security guard or something like that. because he can't really fully be a full police officer. And if so, that's 2 years of training down the drain for nothing.
Here as well, it says here,
investigation and a complaint lodged against him.
and I'm going to read this part of the document here as well. It says here, me. So whoever I suppose is writing this document says, can you tell me about Officer Kramer and any of the issues that you may be aware of? And then Eubanks says, young Officer Kramer came to us in September, has a lot of rough edges. Probably the biggest issue Officer Kramer has is his inability to not talk. So basically, he talks too much. I've heard
Talks
his
too
fellow
much.
officers, his co-workers complain about some of the comments he makes in their presence. The comments are off-color type comments that are not directed towards the officers, but directed towards faculty, staff, and students. I'm not sure. They haven't been made in my presence, obviously, but it causes them concern, and they have voiced those concerns. And guys, if your fellow male officers are getting to the point to where they're that uncomfortable to where they report you, which a lot of male officers,
I wanted to make that statement. Is it a statement? I wanted to say that. But some people, people aren't as tolerable these days on certain topics and the way people act. Oh yeah, one more thing. I didn't know you had to talk to a judge to change your name. I thought it was like not a birth certificate, but just a simple paper you sign, and not a whole. You got to see a whole judge for that.
Locker room talk, guys, we make edgy jokes all the time. If you're that type of guy to where other guys have to now report you, then buddy, you're doing too much.
Exactly.
Lieutenant Blank and I have talked about it, and we have been watching very closely, have been advising the officers if they see anything or they have any faculty, staff, or student that are upset to the point that they wish to make a complaint, to let us know, and we would field the inaudible due to BWC beeping, so they censored something here, and we would get it all documented. So they were having a low-key investigation into Scotty without him even knowing, basically. And then later at the bottom part of this document, from the person writing or within this recorded interview, it says, me, based on the information you have, are they kind of a sexual content? Then Eubanks says, yes, it's kind of off-color towards female students or staff. Again, I'm not sure it's where Officer Kramer apparently sees somebody walking, and while in the presence of another officer, makes some kind of comment about that female. Okay. And guys, apparently this all happened at
Tulsa Community College Metro
campus.
He reads it out.
Oklahoma,
Sorry.
where Scotty is apparently from.
This investigation was eventually closed, and it was closed because Scotty just quit. It says here that he was so pissed off that they were questioning him that he just said, I quit, and left.
Some people, they knew 100%. He knew that they knew that they knew that he knew. That made no sense. Basically, they knew that they were onto him, and so he quit. And they probably caught a word of the investigation because he just quit like that. He must have known.
About 4 or 5 years later, he got really popular on social media and probably thought, damn, that's out there. People know who Matt Kramer is. Gotta change my name. Unfortunately, the bad stories about Matt don't stop there. This is a personal account from a woman that met him at a jiu-jitsu gym.
A jiu-jitsu gym?
That he held her down by her throat and told her how he could kill her right there, and it would be easy for him to get away with it because of his police background.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, another male down. I just gotta say, why are performative males who legit pander for a living and claim to have safe spaces and to be champions of women's rights always caught with a history of either SA or abuse or both?
Hold on. I didn't make that connection. Since he's an officer, like he said, the amount of times, I think it's a statistic. If he's an officer, there's a high probability that he beats his wife or abuses his wife. And, we saw he cheated on her 35 times or so. So, it's there. And the abuse of power of being an officer with his background, of course.
they're championing for. I mean, it's got to be some kind of projection, right? Some kind of compensation, overcompensation to try and come off as the good guy, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. Let me know.
I don't know if you guys qualify that as a safe space, but I certainly don't. Well, Scotty, it looks like you have something else to make a groveling bullshit apology video for. But let's be real. You've been sitting in that chair.
You know what I've noticed? Two things here. This guy's glasses, the guy in the blue. I've never seen glasses like that. And two, this guy's hat. He doesn't change it for shit. I know some cowboys and, you know, those type of hats. I can understand there. Because it's real leather and all that. But a baseball cap? That's tearing from... Just get a new one at that point. Could be his, you know, from he was a kid. But, you know, you gotta draw limits here. That's just a baseball cap. A whole cowboy hat or a leather hat, I understand.
All week, wondering when we would find this shit. Time to see yourself out of the fitness industry, buddy. Your shit's cooked.
Well, shout out to Rise for dropping him and, you know, taking the right approach by not risking their brand with a person like this. Like, hey, honestly, I can't say I'm shocked. And now people are saying the Scotty files are coming out.
Anytime anything comes out from anybody that has just a bit of, you know, I wouldn't say SA or anything to do with a person, it's just files this person. Like their files, here comes the Scotty files.
Am I missing?
Hold on. Wrong button, sorry. Learning the buttons here. There we go.
This you with a dropping of this court document, or not court document, but the document from the college campus in Oklahoma. Someone else said the people who act the nicest always got the worst secrets.
The worst.
Time and time again, that's been proven, right? I'm Alex for one. Someone else said Scotty files before they released the
Epstein
files.
files.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think they literally just dropped it like a few days ago. Another person said he was one of my favorite creators. Such a disappointment. Shake my head. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say stop investing all your emotional investment in any creator. You don't know these people. As a creator myself, who's engaged with many creators behind the scenes, I'm telling you, stop doing that. Honestly, your best bet is just to, you know, if you like their content, support the merch, the music, or whatever else. Keep it at that. Keep it base level. And that's that. That's it. It is what it is. And
I agree with that.
especially
I 100% agree with that. I'm stopping to talk because I have no clue if you can hear me over the audio or the video.
like this who overcompensate with the whole nice guy act or the whole championing for the current popular thing act. Listen, bro, you already know the red flags. You see it time and time again. It is what it is. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Thoughts and opinions down below. The grift continues. Scotty, farewell. Adios. Hasta luego, buddy.
Hold on. Sorry. It kind of autoed. Alright. It's weird that nothing came from it. Like he wasn't charged with anything, allegedly. Or just that. I'm kind of disappointed he wasn't charged. He wasn't. That he wasn't charged with anything. But, you know, from seeing it, there wasn't much to charge him with. Other than comments. I guess they could have gotten fired, not really charged with anything. Unless the jiu-jitsu stuff. Maybe she can charge. Maybe not. I think there's limits to that. And I think since it's a jiu-jitsu thing, you kind of give consent because you're fighting. Or grappling. Fighting, grappling, one of the two. He was a fitness influencer, which I didn't know. 100% he tried to set up a trap at the college, the community college. Say he has an OnlyFans. Try to get the students interested in that. That are interested in him. And he'll get students that way. More content, this, that, and the third. And it didn't work. But with that being said, I think we're done with the video here. This is the end of the video. I do want to talk about a few things. We just hit 400 subscribers. I gotta look at the camera. I gotta get used to that. We just hit 400 subscribers. I fixed my mic. Can you see it? Yes, you can. I fixed my mic audio, so it didn't sound like I was in the next room talking to you. Like, subscribe. Please subscribe. Going for a goal. 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. there's also a bit more to that, but I can't remember the whole thing right now. I'll probably put it up screen if I still have it. I'll upload 5 times a month. That was the goal. 5 times monthly, but I think I'm gonna increase that more. I do upload a lot, but I don't upload it to my subscribers because YouTube will push out my video more if I send it out. Just send it out and not push it to you, the subscriber. It'll be pushed out to more people, so more people can discover me. With that being said, like, subscribe, and thank you for joining me.